creation story as gospel and be inspired to love and serve accordingly. By no longer opposing evolution, but wholeheartedly embracing it as the great story of 14 billion years of divine grace and creativity, I now have a more intimate relationship with God than ever before. Throughout this book, I will be sharing how and why this is the case, and I will do so in ways that non-Christians and non-religious people can also celebrate. Over the course of 10 years, I pastored 3 United Church of Christ congregations, 1 in New England and 2 in the Midwest, before shifting careers into interfaith sustainability work and community organizing. In the spring of 2000, I attended a Pentecostal charismatic worship service near my childhood home of Poughkeepsie, New York. I've always loved the energy and enthusiasm of spirit-filled worship. At a moment when the congregation was swept up in ecstatic praise, the woman who had invited me turned and grasped my hands. "I have a word from God for you," she declared. "Great," I replied. She continued, "Thus saith the Lord, My son, I have called thee home to reveal thy true mission. Step out boldly with thy beloved, and fear not, for I will bless thy steps and thy ministry more abundantly than thou canst imagine." Several thoughts immediately raced through my mind. The first, I'm ready. Then, I wonder why God likes Elizabethan English so much. Finally, whoa, boy, did you hear that? God said, with your beloved. You better get moving, dude. You don't even have a girlfriend. Several months later, my friend's prophetic words were made flesh. I met science writer Connie Barlow at a lecture given by cosmologist Brian Swim at Auburn Theological Seminary in New York City. Connie was the author of 4 books, and 2 of them had evolution in their titles: Evolution Extended, Biological Debates on the Meaning of Life, and The Ghosts of Evolution. She, too, was a long-time Epic of Evolution enthusiast. What is more, her passion for sharing a sacred understanding of cosmic history was no less than mine. 7 months later, I asked Connie to marry me. 3 weeks after that, we were wed at the Earth Spirit Rising Conference on Ecology, Spirituality, and the Great Work, which was held in Louisville, Kentucky in June 2001. Surely, this was a marriage of science and religion. Connie was a self-described atheist, and her professional life was steeped in the sciences. My life was devoted to religion. Our union embraces both. 3 months later, the World Trade Center was attacked. We were living north of New York City, and Connie had a scheduled meeting in Tower Number 1 the very next day. The collapse of the towers forced us to reevaluate our priorities. A month later, we were watching the final installment of the PBS television special, Evolution, A Journey into Where We're From and Where We're Going. That last episode was titled, What About God? It examined the struggle that conservative Christian college students face in trying to embrace both evolution and a pre-evolutionary interpretation of their faith. As the program ended, Connie turned to me and said, "You need to be out there speaking to those students. You need to show them how an evolutionary understanding can enrich their faith." Connie and I were still newlyweds. I had no idea she was prepared to follow through, personally, on her declaration. A few weeks later, after a frustrating day at work, I told her, not really serious, just sort of whining, "You know, I wish we could just travel nonstop, teaching and preaching the great story wherever we go." Her response was astounding. Looking me in the eyes, she said with utter conviction, "I'd love to do that." Since April 2002, Connie and I have been full-time evolutionary evangelists. We live permanently on the road, offering a spiritually nourishing view of evolution throughout North America. In the tradition of traveling preachers, we gave up our worldly possessions, left our home, and now carry everything that we need in our van. We go wherever we're invited. Our goal is to inspire people of all ages and theological orientations to embrace the history of everyone and everything in personally and socially transforming ways. We offer a view of our collective evolutionary journey that fires the imagination, touches the heart, and leaves people wanting more. We keep our distance from the polarized science versus religion conflict that festers in our society, particularly with respect to public school education. In the few hours or days that we engage with any given group, we present only the most compelling and alluring features of what many call the epic of evolution, or the great story. As with other leaders in this movement, we believe that the 14 billion year story of cosmic, earth, life, and cultural history can enrich any and all of humanity's cherished creation.